Welcome to the Offshore Club's fun-filled, fact-filled, fast-paced, blockbuster podcast, Coffee with Carib Carter, coming to you exclusively from where the sun never sets on the good life at a great price. And now, fill up your favorite coffee mug and join your expert and your guide, Carib Carter Clues.
Hello, hello, hello. It's Carib Carter with Coffee with Carib Carter, and welcome. Welcome to Coffee with Carib Carter, episode 50. Episode 50. We've almost been together a year. It's fantastic. We sure have covered a lot of ground, haven't we? Covered a lot of ground information-wise and geographically. We've covered all of Central and South America. Okay? It's incredible and it's wonderful. And I enjoy every second. It's really the high point of my week. And I know a lot of you do as well, because I get your wonderful emails. Keep them coming. Carib Carter 7, the number 7 at gmail.com. There you go. Carib Carter 7 at gmail.com. So please keep them coming. And as you know, I respond to every one of them, and it's wonderful to hear from you. We have a great show today, and I'm going to try and move quickly, because I'm promising you I'm going to try and keep the show from now to around 40 minutes, because a lot of you say that's a good time for you. So I'm going to do my best to do that. Okay. So we have a lot of stuff to pack in today. But before I get to it, I want to urge you, our super producer, Gary, says, Carter, don't forget to ask people to subscribe. Okay. Hit that subscribe button, because when you do that, then YouTube goes ahead and notifies other people who are like-minded, okay? And we can grow. We're up to 100,000 members of the Offshore Club now. My goal is within a year, 1 million. And I said, Carter, that's a little grandiose there. Actually, it's not. That's each one reach 10. That's all that is. And you can help that happen by hitting that subscribe button, okay? So please do that. And also make sure to go to, there we go, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure to go to offshore.club. If you haven't signed up for the daily newsletter, free Offshore Club Gazette, that it is an incredible the best daily offshore newsletter anywhere on the internet. So make sure to subscribe to that. And then and make sure to watch for my post there every day on social media. Okay, Carib Carter post. I try and do at least one, sometimes 2 a day. Just keep building this thing, because it's fantastic. It's working. I'm hearing from more and more people who are moving to the good life at a great price offshore, to the sun, sand, and surf. And I want you to at least consider it. Okay, I want you to at least consider it, because that's the new land of opportunity. Okay, is south of the border. It's wide open now. Don't wait. Get in now while the price is good, as the old saying goes, okay? So, again, let's do this thing. Today's show, I have 3 elements that I think you're going to love. I know you're going to love. First, it's our regular every other week visit with Charlotte Tweed, the major domo over at escapeartist.com, our sister organization. Great. If you haven't been to Escape Artist, check it out. A lot of information there. We're lifestyle. We're the Offshore Club, because you're a member, and we're lifestyle. Escape Artist is more a lot of the nitty gritty stuff that sometimes I get questions about. Joel Nagel answers a lot of them for us on his show at the Offshore Club, his Global Wealth Fortress Report. Mike Cobb does, but you get them also at escapeartist.com. So Charlotte is a major domo there. Plus, and she's going to tell us in her interview a little bit about how you can subscribe to their monthly magazine, Insiders Magazine, which is the best, barring none, the best magazine, international magazine in the marketplace. Okay, it really is a great magazine, tremendous information, and I even do a column myself. So subscribe, if nothing else, for that reason. Okay, it's only $79 a month. She'll tell you how to get it. It is worth every penny of it, because you read it all month long. Okay, it's very, very, very good. Beautifully done, by the way. She is masterful. So we have Charlotte. Then I got a $1,000 listing Caribbean for you, in one of my favorite spots in the entire Caribbean. Okay, fell in love with her over 10 years ago. most beautiful white sand beaches I've ever seen. I have a home for you at a price you're not going to believe. So stay tuned for that. $1,000 in the Caribbean. Then we're going to end up with a friend of mine in Honduras, a lady who's been a friend of mine for almost 15 years now, who I promise you, I'm going to guarantee you this, and then you're going to see it for yourself. When you see the interview with this lady, you are going to say that she has just taught me everything that I had absolutely no idea of about Honduras. And I got to get down there and see it. So that's coming up as well. So first, let's go to our first interview with our friend Charlotte, who I know you love her because you write to me about it. Delightful person, always informative. Let's talk to Charlotte Tweed. Charlotte, welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing good, Carter. How about yourself?
I am well, thank you. I am well. You know, here's something very odd that just occurred to me. I looked at this picture. This is very funny. The light, and I know a lot of, right up above your head. It looks like a wicker trash can. Okay, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it makes, I look at it and I'm thinking, and a lot of, when I say this, like 90% of Offshore Club member viewers and viewers of Coffee with Carib Carter are going to say, what is he talking about? But what it looks, I looked at it and my first thought was the great movie with Fred Astaire where he dances on the ceiling. I mean, you're saying to yourself, who in the hell is Fred Astaire? What was he?
I know who Fred Astaire is, but I haven't seen the movie.
It's one of the early movies where they use trick camera work and all. But that if he would be dancing around that trash can. He had a broom. He was sweeping the floor. So that's the first. So it has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about. But it was like, what the heck here? I feel like Fred Astaire today. So first of all, I want to talk about three things. I want to talk about how things are in Mexico. 2, I want to talk about escape artists. And 3, I want to talk about Insiders Magazine, which is just absolutely terrific. You're the editor. You do a great job. First of all, how are things in Mexico? It's been like over a month now, right? Since you moved.
Well, we got here in December. So yes, late December,
Wow.
But we're in a new location just over a week ago. We came to a new location. We are now in the highlands, close to Mexico City. So we were on the Pacific coast before. Now we're in a new location. And I can tell you, for me being Canadian and used to cooler weather, the weather here is perfect. Perfect. It's like I am in eternal spring, and they call it that. I actually feel like I've stepped into a Canadian fall. Like since we left Canada, it feels like I've been in July for 6 months.
Yeah.
And I honestly was ready for a reprieve from the heat because we're not used to that heat, right?
No.
And we got here and I thought, it's true when they talk about the highland country, because we're at a higher elevation. I think Mexico City is at 6,000 feet or something like that. It is a lot cooler than down on the ocean. So our day, and every day, it's the same. It's the highs, and I'll even do Fahrenheit for you. It's the low 70s all day. So for Canadians, it's like 21 to 23 every day. The sun has been shining every day. At night, it gets cool, which is, I want to say, the 50s Fahrenheit. So it's about 7 to 9 degrees overnight. But as soon as the sun comes up in the morning, it warms up quickly. So
fantastic. So it's absolutely beautiful.
It is, yeah.
Gorgeous country. So whenever we think of Mexico, whenever I think of Mexico, and this is very unfortunate because I've been to all over Central America, obviously, but I don't think I've ever actually been in Mexico. Well, no, I was in Chetumal.
Okay, yeah.
Which is a wonderful city, I might add, across the water from Belize. But I always, whenever I think of Mexico, I think of like the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's but I guess where you are is very pretty.
It is. We're in what they would call the mountains. So I mean, they don't look anything like Canada's Rocky Mountains. they're tree covered. There's one palm tree that I can see from our window. It's all fir trees, deciduous trees. It's green. There's a grove of avocados they just planted on the other side of the hill. But everything's green right now. We have flowers. It's beautiful. It's
And
a
so it's
beautiful
gonna
valley back there. Yeah.
So it'll be that way all year round.
All year round. Yeah.
Incredible. So are you in a people are always curious as to where are you living? Are you living in a neighborhood? Is it like a community, or is your home, what's the nearest home? How far is the nearest home?
We are in the country.
Okay.
So where we are staying, our plans kind of went sideways, which happens when you go on travels like this. And we were supposed to have a long-term house sit on the Pacific coast, close
Right.
by Barrie, which fell apart, but that's okay. Everything happens for a reason.
Yep.
They decided to stay back and do renovations. It's beyond the responsibility of a house sitter to supervise renovations, especially in Mexico. So we won't be going back for that house sit. So a friend of ours who is originally from Peru had friends outside of Mexico City that have Airbnb homes in the country that they rent. So the area that we are in is where people from Mexico City come for their weekend getaways or come to just get out of the city. So they have a house in the country that we're up on the side of a hill. They own 3 homes here, actually. Her grandparents just live just down the hill from us. We can see their place. It's probably about 300 feet away. And then they have another house that they come into for the weekends just up the hill as well. So the closest town to us is, I won't get this right in miles. I can say it's about a 20-minute drive in either direction. We're in between a little Mexico magical town. It's called Melanelco. And the other town is Tenancingo. And it's a little more current. There's, grocery stores and that type of thing there. Right. Melanelco is more the little old classical historical town.
Yeah. So when you want to go shopping, you drive 20 minutes. And are there supermarkets, or I sound like I sound like somebody who just came from Mars or something, which it's almost like that. And I think for a lot of Offshore Club members, do you drive to a big supermarket or just a grocery store, or how does that work?
Well, we've been here for a week, and we went to, if you walk down the hill, there is a little, I guess what you'd call a little convenience store. There's not much in it. We did go check it out. You can buy pop, chips, like that type of thing, like a typical corner store. Melanelco, the older town, I thought, well, I want to go there and check it out because I love historical sites. We don't have a car here right now because you're only allowed to rent a car in Mexico for 2 weeks, and the cost is astronomical because the insurance is ridiculous.
Really?
So yes, it was $1,200 for us to rent a car for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And it's like, no, that's insane.
Horrifying.
So it is. So the grandparents who live down the hill are letting us borrow their truck. So we just put 200 pesos in worth of gas and take their trucks. We went to Melanelco. I wanted to check out this place. And they said, well, it's not the best place to get groceries, but I always like to go see for myself.
Yes.
So we drove in, got lost, drove around for an hour, could not find the only grocery store in town. There's 2 banks there, tried the bank machine. Our cards wouldn't work. Our cards wouldn't work at the convenience store because it was February 1st and our travel alert came off on our bank cards. We had access to no money. So it's okay. We couldn't find the grocery store because I wouldn't have been able to buy anything. Anyway, fortunately, on our way out here, we had stopped in Mexico City at a big shopping grocery store and picked up supplies. I had 6 eggs left, 2 slices of bread, and some lettuce. So that's what we came back and had for dinner and breakfast the next day, and took the locals' advice and went to Tenancingo to get groceries instead. And they have what would be Mexico's equivalent to Walmart. It is like a Walmart. You can buy clothing, anything in there, groceries, food. So we went there, had a nice, pleasant shopping experience. It wasn't busy. Got our stuff, came back. So in Tenancingo, that's where you go for your groceries. If you want to go visit a little historical town and walk around, you go to Melanelco.
Very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. And so now I guess over time you'll get to know the people in the area. Make friends with,
Yes, and
yeah, very
yeah,
nice. Very, very
yeah,
nice. Yeah.
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 And the family has been wonderful. We went down and had a nice visit with Grandma and Grandpa. Grandpa's 80, Grandma's 79. She speaks no English at all, but very talkative. And Grandpa does speak a little bit of English. So, have a little shot of mezcal and have a nice little chat. And it was lovely. So,
Very nice. Very
mhm.
nice. So will you be you one of the things I love that you do is you are a great writer about places you visited. Okay. It's
Mhm.
really
Thank you.
excuse me, it's really a delight whenever you write about a kind of like a travel log. Will you be
Mm.
writing for Escape Artist and I guess for Insiders Magazine? Will you be writing like Charlotte's travel log? Can we look
Well,
forward to that?
I have with the newsletter, I am doing a Charlotte's Expat Roadmap. So that's the Escape Artist newsletter that comes out. Um, it's a weekly, it's not weekly, but it's like 3 times a week for sure. And then the odd time we throw in some other, if I have something to say, I'll add that in there. But I am doing that to chronicle my journeys as I
Good.
go through this as well. And then I will write articles for Escape Artist Insiders magazine as well about places that I've gone to. So, and
Excellent.
on our blog. Mhm.
So expats, sometimes people say to me, what's the difference between the Escape Artist and the Offshore Club? Okay.
Mhm.
And I tell them Offshore Club is really lifestyle. I mean, that's what we do. I interview people like Joel Nagel, who does the greatest asset protection attorney on the face of the earth, and help.
Mhm.
And we talk about things like residency and second citizenship and all. But primarily, Offshore Club is lifestyle. Escape Artist is, which you are in charge of, and you do a great job on. And I encourage people to go there, escapeartist.com. Okay. Escapeartist.com, folks. I think it's the oldest offshore website on the internet, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. And it's great. And I, excuse me, I started going to escapeartist.com a good 20 years ago myself. And it's just fantastic. And you do a great job on it. But at Escape Artist, they really do get a lot of the kind of information that goes into the detail of second residency and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Offshore banking, is that right? Am I on
Mhm.
target?
Yes, you are. We're a one-stop shop for everything you need to go offshore, if it's for personal reasons or business reasons. We also do cover the lifestyle aspect of it as well with my travel writing, because that's
Oh
my
yeah,
passion, is writing about travel.
which is
So,
great.
and so we do cover that. We also talk about cryptocurrencies. The edition that we just put out February 1st for Escape Artist Insiders magazine was taking your business offshore, was the
Yes.
theme of the magazine. So, we covered gold for the digital nomad, how digital nomads can actually own and buy gold, which I found absolutely fascinating. We had a guest writer in there who they've been digital nomads for 5 years now, it is believed, so told a bit of their story. Uh, Real estate developers about buying property,
Great.
investing in um, agricultural land, as well as purchasing a home or that type of thing. So we cover all the aspects of it.
Excellent. Excellent.
Mhm.
And let's talk about Insiders Magazine, because it is a terrific magazine. First, describe what it is for us, because folks, you want to subscribe to Insiders Magazine. It is your number one offshore resource as far as I'm concerned, all in one place. Okay. So first describe, and you're the editor, and again, you do a terrific job.
Thank you.
I enjoy the opportunity to write an article for it every month. Tell
Mhm.
us what Insiders Magazine is, and then let's make sure people know how to subscribe and get
Okay.
received every month.
Sure. Well, we release a digital magazine the first of every month. So the first it comes out, we have our regular columnists, as well as we have guest columnists that come, or guest writers that come in to write each month. And like I said, we cover everything that you would need to go offshore, to start your business offshore, whether that's leaving for retirement purposes or leaving for taking your family, or starting a business offshore. People always have those questions. You mentioned Joel. Joel writes an article for us each month too. So, on legal aspects of it, the second residencies, getting another passport. We cover all those. We usually have a theme every month, but I mean, I'm not a tax expert. So when we have our tax issue, which is coming out next month,
right?
I'll probably write a travel article. So it's a well-rounded magazine with more than just one topic all the time. It's not just countries. It's not just expat living. There's more to it than that. And it is digital. So, I mean, you can take it anywhere.
Yeah.
And to subscribe, you just go to our escapeartist.com, and there's a subscribe tab at the top with the magazine, and you can just sign up right there. And we have it on sale right now. So it's $79 a year to sign up.
So, and usually I think is $100 a year, right?
We have, the price has gone up, but we still have a discount on right now. So
good. So $79 for a full year. And folks, the nice thing about it is it really is a magazine. You can get the Escape Artist newsletter is terrific. Obviously, the Offshore Club Gazette Daily newsletter is terrific. But the Insiders magazine is, as the name implies, a real magazine where you can sit down with it. The articles are in depth from absolute experts. And I like the fact you do kind of stick to a theme a month, right? And I know the idea. I know this past month on how to start a business offshore. I get a lot of letters from people about that. Can I start a business? What's involved with it? And so for those Offshore Club members watching right now who, have written to me about it, folks, just go subscribe to the magazine seriously, because it's going to give you everything you need to know.
Everything. Yeah. And exactly. And when you sign up for comments or the newsletter, let me know what you want to hear about, because that's what helps us build our themes. We want to deliver what our readers want to know. So that was a reason we picked, taking your business offshore, because I had people asking me, I want to know this. I want to know this. I want to know this. Okay. It's time to put that in. And we don't put the articles on the website. They are just, strictly in the magazine. So
strictly in the magazine. So not only do you get the inside information, but you get bragging rights, because nobody else knows the inside information. You get to be the expert because you're the subscriber to the magazine, folks. So that's terrific. That's terrific. So I think the, what you're doing there again, and folks, just think of the Escape Artist as kind of like an Offshore Club. We are sister organizations, and we perfectly complement each other. And, Charlotte and I hit it off the first time we met, which has been quite a few months now, I think.
Yeah, it has been a couple months.
I was going to say back when I was young, but nothing is that long ago. But it has been a long time, and it's been fantastic. And I appreciate you come on every other week and give us an update on, number one, where you're living. Folks, you recall when we first started, Charlotte was living in Nicaragua.
Yes, the first one I was in Nicaragua,
Yeah, and now she's in Mexico. And we have the advantage that the Coffee with Carib Carter viewers have is that I have a tremendous breadth of ignorance. And so so I have the same kind of questions, as you know, from when we talked at the beginning about, well, what is Mexico like? As a lot of our viewers do. So thank you.
Well, and most of the time too, when people think of Mexico, they just think of beaches and the resorts, and it's more than that. Like, I've never been to the Mexican highlands before.
Yeah, no.
It's fabulous. Nobody around here, there very little English is spoke, but I mean, if you want culture, this is somewhere that you want to go. So I would have sat outside. I love sitting outside and talking to you, because then people can see the outside, but it was too bright. And even here, there's huge windows and skylights. I'm getting really hot sitting in the
sun. Well, you look great and you sound great. And this has been a terrific interview. And I'm still, every once in a while, my eye still drifts up to my Fred Astaire moment there with the You're going to have to look at the movie now. You're going to have to.
I was hoping it wasn't going to look like a hat. That's what I was worried about.
That's right. Now it shifts it. All right,
Oh,
Charlotte, thank you once again for a
okay.
great visit. It's always fantastic, and it's always a pleasure to see you and talk with you. So thank you.
Pleasure's mine, Carter.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow. Terrific. Absolutely terrific. Charlotte is always delightful to talk to and always informative, with information that the rest of us don't have. It's not, it's not the advantage with someone like Charlotte is it's not just that she goes to these places that some of us have not been, but she's very good at telling us about it and describing it to us and giving us the insight and it making us feel like we're there. So that's absolutely terrific. And as usual, we appreciate her joining us. And now I'm going to talk to you about someplace I really have been for our Coffee with Carib Carter $1,000 listing Caribbean. Okay. I was totally ignorant about Mexico, but this is a place where I have been and absolutely fell in love with. And geez, a good 10 years ago. It's called Trujillo. Okay. And I'm going to take a nasal spray break here. Okay. Right on camera. Some of you are out there, which is very funny. Some people are just thinking that you should never use nasal spray. Matter of fact, there was a very funny bit on Seinfeld or one of those shows once about they treated the person who used nasal spray like he was an alcoholic. It was very funny. Some of you right now are saying, "Hey, yeah, I remember that, Carter." And it wasn't Seinfeld. It was the show with the big fat guy who was the postman. FedEx guy or UPS, whatever. Nonetheless, but for me to breathe right, I have to take a nasal spray break there. So now I'm back and ready to roll again. But I want to, and I know we're informal enough to do that, so I appreciate it. But I want to talk to you about a place that a good more than 10 years ago I visited. And it was actually one of back then I was doing some work, believe it or not, it may have been closer to 15 years ago. I was doing some work for International Living, which is a great organization. Kathy Petticord, Lee Simon, great people, where they were with IL then, now they're with Live and Invest Offshore or something, which is another great organization that I always recommend because they're super people. But for some reason, I was sent to a town called Trujillo, okay? Trujillo, Honduras, okay? Trujillo, Honduras. I had never been to Trujillo. At that point, I had never been to Honduras, okay? Honestly, God, I was so ignorant about Honduras that when they also told me you need to go to Roatan Island, I thought they were talking about a different country. Okay. Now, as you all know, the Roatan is one of the 3 Bay Islands of Honduras. But I swear to God, when they said we also need to go to Roatan, I thought, gee, I'm going to a different country while I'm down there. No, it's part of, actually, a lot of the people in Roatan don't consider themselves part of Honduras, but it is. But the other place I went, and Roatan was beautiful, obviously, but I actually thought Trujillo was even more beautiful. I have never before or since seen white sand beaches like at Trujillo, Honduras. Okay. And that's where I found for this week for you, our $1,000 listing Caribbean. All right. Once again, a lot of times I'll tell you about one of the great ECI developments, Grand Pacifica, Grand Bayman, Costa Rica, Panama, Belize, whatever. But a lot of times also, as you know, I go to Vivian. You see Vivian, let me get it there because I always pronounce it so fast. People say, Carter, we can't even understand you. VIVIAN.com. Okay. Just type it in. We've done 50 properties now. I'll bet you 40 of them I've gotten for you from Vivian. Okay. Including this one today. All right. This one today is a beach house for sale in Trujillo, Honduras. Okay. And if you want to look it up, here we go. All you have to do is go to vivian.com And in the little box in the upper right-hand corner, type in that number. I'm going to hold it there a second. You got a pen? You got a pen? Geez, that's what the Saturday Evening Post used to call faded phrases. You never hear it anymore. You got a pen? Well, if you got a pen, there's the number. Just type that number in the little box in the upper right-hand corner and click go, and you will go to this very page here, okay? This is a home that I think is gorgeous, okay? I'm telling you, I think it's gorgeous, and I know Trujillo is gorgeous. House built in 2013 on a 1,200 square foot lot. Total living space is about well over 1,000 feet, okay? Almost 1,800 feet. Right near the little historic town of Trujillo, which is a very quaint, wonderful little town, folks. Wonderful little town. It has air conditioned, 2 bedrooms plus a loft that can be changed to another bedroom, 2 full bathrooms, has a terrace, has a laundry room. Here's the outside. Okay. By the way, this listing has it looks like 15 pictures. Okay. So make sure to check them out. Isn't that beautiful? Gorgeous home. Gorgeous home. Okay. That's the home I'm talking to you about right now in Trujillo. Okay. Here's your own swimming pool, gazebo outside your door. That's yours, folks. You buy the house. That's it. In a community, by the way, in a community in Trujillo. Let's go inside. You go inside. Look out your windows. Remember the big windows I showed you from the outside? Well, that's you're on the inside looking out now. Folks, that's breathtaking to me. Talk about relaxing. Talk about scenic. Another view out your window. Look at this. Imagine that every day. And the weather's always the same every day. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. There's your stairs up to the second floor where the 2 bedrooms and the lofts are. Beautifully done. Nice woodwork, folks. Nice woodwork. Look, that's very, very, very nicely done. This picture's a little dark, but it's the downstairs. Okay, it's the downstairs. Dining room area with the kitchen area. It's just a beautiful home. This is a beautiful, beautiful home in Trujillo. This is a typical Trujillo beach, by the way. You're in walking distance. It's not waterfront, but it's within water view and within walking distance to the ocean. Look at that. That is typical Trujillo. I can tell you that. And this is typical too. Look at the turtles swimming by in the water. Where in the world are you going to see that except in the Caribbean? And you buy this home at your daily fare. How much is it? You know, by now you're saying, okay, Carter, that's pretty nice. But, you know, I'm not a wealthy person. I can't spend an arm and a leg. Get ready. That home, everything I just showed you, all those pictures, gorgeous, gorgeous pictures I just showed you. 2-bedroom, terrace, lofts, can be a 3rd bedroom, 2-bathroom. Everything you could want. Beautiful location, nice, gorgeous gated community in Trujillo, one of the most beautiful countries towns I've ever been to. Asking price is $125,000. Folks, that would cost you in that kind of a location in the U.S., if you could find it, would cost you 5 to 10 times that much. You know it. You know it. If you've looked around, you know it. 5 to 10 times that much, if you could find it nowadays, okay? And then your taxes would eat you alive, so your taxes end up being higher than your house payment probably. You don't have that. Property taxes on that home, $125,000. If you pay $100 a year property taxes, that's probably a lot. Yeah, think of the savings. Think of the savings. There are utility bills, next to nothing. The very low utility bills in Honduras, and you don't have to worry about heat in the winter because there ain't no winter. Okay, this one's air conditioning. So, you know, I would bet your monthly utility bill may be $70. I would bet. Okay, I think that's what my wife and I pay at our home in La Ceiba, Honduras, a beach home. Very similar to this, by the way. Very similar. I just go to it if I were you, and I tell them, I'll offer you 100. Maybe saying, Carter, they're going to say that we're nuts. But who cares? Okay. You know, like I've told you before, I always say to people when I offer them a lot less than they're asking, and they say, well, we're asking 125 and you're only offering 100, we would lose $25,000. And I tell them, yes. And if you don't take what I'm offering, you're going to lose $100,000. So it's, when you put it in perspective, that's kind of a win-win situation, isn't it? So I would check that house out. You know, Trujillo, let me tell you how beautiful Trujillo is. And I'm going to finish up with this because I promised our super producer and some of our viewers, Coffee with Carib Carter cadre friends, that I'm going to try and stay to 40 minutes each week now. But Trujillo is a place, when I visited, it was so funny. They have a statue of Christopher Columbus because it is the first place he landed in the New World. Believe it or not, Trujillo, a statue. I'm just a wooden statue. And they said that when Columbus left 500 years ago, he said, this place is perfectly gorgeous. Don't change a thing until I get back. And we haven't. So that's how pristine and beautiful Trujillo is. This home, I would, if you have any interest in living South Florida, I know you do. That's why you're a member of the Offshore Club. Check it out. Check it out. That's a dream home. Dream home for a dream price in a dream locale. Okay, so let me take a sip here and let's do this thing. Really, grab that one. Grab that. You grab that one. I'll come and visit. And by the way, they just opened up a tour lines there for Trujillo. So you can probably get pretty good rental on your property when you're not there. So keep that in mind as well. Okay. And now I want to finish up with something I have been looking forward to ever since I started Coffee with Carib Carter. You know, I love to interview people, and I love to interview real people who live in the countries that that I recommend to you, which is every place in Central and South America. You know, from way up here in Belize. I was going to say Mexico, but Mexico is not South America. Mexico is North America, believe it or not. But let's say from Mexico all the way down to Argentina, I recommend all these countries to you, and specific homes with $1,000 listing Caribbean. And one of the things I like to do is interview the people who live in these countries. I think our interview with Giovanni last week was incredible. And today I have an equally great interview for you. As I mentioned at the outset, a very dear friend of mine, one of my oldest friends in Central America, a lady I fell in love with when I first met her almost 15 years ago now. And she is pure class, successful businesswoman who really can help you understand that Honduras and these other Central American countries, well, particularly Honduras, because that's where she lives, where she was born, her family, solid middle-class family. It is really the good life at a great price. So join me in welcoming my good friend, Elisa Rodesno. So now here is my very, very good friend, Elisa Rodesno. Elisa, welcome to Coffee with Carib Carter. There
Thank you, Carter. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. We've been trying to get this on the books for a couple of weeks now, and well, finally got it. So I'm happy to be here with you.
We finally did it. You look great. You sound great. It's fantastic to see you again. Folks, I have known, as I said earlier in the show, Elisa and I have known each other, I think it's got to be pushing 15 years.
Yeah, thereabouts. I think we met like around 2008 or 9, maybe.
I think so. I think so.
That.
It's very funny. Some people have contacted me about trying to put together a deal to sell iron ore. Remember?
Yes.
That's when we first met.
Yep.
And it was to sell iron ore because they have a lot of great iron ore in Honduras. And we were trying to sell it, I think, in Europe or China or somewhere, I believe.
Yeah, we're trying to get it for the Chinese market. Yeah.
For the Chinese market. So I go into this meeting, and here's this wonderful lady here who it looks exactly the same as she does right now, and spoke perfect English. Perfect, just exactly the way you hear Elisa right now. And I think after the meeting, I said, I remember saying to you, how long did you live in the U.S.?
Yeah, you were surprised when you asked me how long I had lived up there, and I told you never. I told you I'd visited Mickey Mouse a couple of times, and that was it. You were amazed to hear that.
I was like stunned. I
Yeah.
said, "Wait a minute, you sound exactly like me. You could be from Baltimore,"
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
pretty fantastic. So then we got to know each other, and actually, the Elisa and I were together at the Princess Hotel in San Pedro Sula, I think, right?
Yes, we were.
When,
Yeah.
the first time I ever met my wife.
Yeah. When you met Rachel, I remember that.
we
Yes.
met, we met Rachel at the same time. So
Amazing, right?
it's fantastic. So we go back
Yeah.
a long way. And what is one of the many things wonderful about Elisa is Elisa really represents a whole um, lifestyle of Honduras that is part and parcel of Honduras, which is a wonderful country, which people in the U.S. have no idea of.
Yeah. The picture that's in most North Americans' minds is completely different. It tends to be, somebody that might be kind of sketchy, something kind of scary, and it isn't necessarily that. I mean, it usually it's far from it. So,
Yeah,
like yeah, there's a lot of us that it's a different way of living. It's different customs and different way of doing things. But it's a pretty nice thing. Well, your wife is Honduran. You know this better than I do. I mean, but it's good for us to share, with the world so that everybody can know that, there's a lot of good stuff here. There's a lot of nice people. People tend to be very friendly and very nice. And I'm sure you can attest to that, like people
incredible.
smile and say hello, even if they don't know you. And those kinds of things are not what you would usually see on the news. So, yeah,
No,
but it's totally.
it is, you say Honduras to people first. This is so funny. You'd be stunned at how many people, when I say, I have a home in Honduras, because I have two homes in Honduras now.
Yeah.
And they'll say, now, Honduras, is that Africa? I go, no,
Yeah.
Honduras not. They don't even know where it is.
Most
But the
people have no
image,
idea. Yeah.
and then when you tell them, no, it's in Central America and all Honduras. And then, honest to God, you get this idea. I get questions like, do they have electricity and running water and all? And so having you on,
Yeah.
folks, this is a successful businesswoman in Honduras,
Yeah.
strong middle-class family, which I want to talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
But tell them what life is like for you. Folks, it is a wonderful country with a wonderful lifestyle, and Elisa Rodesno really represents it.
Yeah, it is different than what you kind of picture. I mean, we do have. I live in the capital city, which is Tegucigalpa. Starting with that, so sadly, I don't have a beach, like 30 minutes away or anything. I have to drive for a couple of hours. But if I drive south, I have beaches 3 hours away. If I drive north, like 4 hours away, or if I fly out, it's a 50-minute flight or an hour flight. So there's then we have a lot of mountains. We have a bunch of stuff, really nice things to do. But like here in the city, it's like what I don't know, like what a small city in the U.S. life would be. You have work. I work, for instance. I do a lot of remote work. I'm a market research analyst, so I do a lot of remote work. I actually work with some American companies and some British companies, and so you sit down in your desk, you get your internet, you have power. You have it's like a regular home that you would see in the US. The construction is probably different, and it's way hotter down here. We're typically around the high 80s or maybe low 90s are the typical, like the average temperatures, but it's pretty much similar in many ways. We do have a lot of nice things and nice advantages, like the fruits and the vegetables you get down here. They kind of taste different. You can just see the colors when you go to the markets and stuff. Carter,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can attest to that.
Yeah.
It's completely different in that sense, but it's also very normal, considering what you would picture, like living in a small town in the U.S. Maybe, if you could compare it to that. But there's a nice mix because we do have well, the weather is definitely you're gonna sweat a lot if you come down here if you're used to and especially like this time of year when you guys are probably freezing. Carter, I'm betting
Oh yeah.
you're shoveling snow pretty often right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, on the flip side, I've got the AC on because it's kind of warm here, so those kinds of things are pretty nice to have. And again, the other thing that I was mentioning, like you can take a drive, you can drive 30 minutes out, and there's like some very quaint, nice little towns. You've been to Valle de Angeles and Santa
Yeah.
Lucia, so you can take a drive during the weekend, and it's just it's just very it's a slower way of living. I think that like the lifestyle, the pace is way slower than it will be in the biggest U.S. cities and all that. So there's a lot of nice things, and it's pretty much like living in a town because this is the capital city, and it's
Yeah,
less than 2 million people. There's less than 2 million
that's
people
right.
here, so and that's a small city compared to the the scale of the U.S. So smaller towns, in the hundreds of thousands maybe, and so pretty quaint lifestyle and very laid back in many ways.
Pretty quaint. And when I have visited Tegucigalpa, I found it a beautiful city. I mean, I stayed at the um,
You would stay at
Hilton.
the
I think.
at, at the Clarion as well. I remember
Yes,
you staying at the
yes, I
Clarion.
did. Yeah, stay at the Clarion, which is a gorgeous hotel.
Yeah,
And I would walk across to the mall in Tegucigalpa,
yeah,
which, and I remember you. Yeah, I remember you and I meeting there one time. And folks, it is one of the most beautiful malls I have ever been in my life. It's gorgeous, tremendous selection of stores,
yeah.
modern, beautiful, clean. Uh, it, it, right?
Yeah, completely. I mean, it's very beautiful, and you have a wide selection, and also like we are to a certain degree we are kind of America's, North America's backyard. So there's a lot of like the big chains that you would see in the States. So it seems pretty familiar, and but it's a nice mix because we have like stores with the type of products that we would culturally would be more like more local, but you have a mix because you also have, I don't know, like a TGI Fridays you can go to, and you can
Yep.
sort of feel at home when you come. And then next to it, you can have like a little restaurant that sells tacos or pupusas. So you have a very nice mix. There's a lot of amenities, and it's pretty nice and comfortable. And when you're in there, like, well, you when you're at the malls and all that, you can't tell me that you felt unsafe or anything. I mean,
No,
you,
no,
no, I mean, it's
totally
yeah,
safe,
yeah.
totally safe. And not only safe, but it was very modern. As a matter of fact, believe it or not, years ago, I was there, and there was a kiosk that had a virtual reality.
Ah,
It was the only time I've ever used. Think about this, folks. We always talk about how modern America. It was into the mall in Tegucigalpa is the only time I have used virtual reality goggles
there
at the mall, and
you
it
go.
was a roller coaster ride, and I had to stop after 2 minutes because
Just make you feel sick.
oh my god, it was too real. It wasn't virtual, it was like real. but
Yeah.
but yeah, and also, it's a funny thing. I remember one time you and we were at the mall. It ran into a very polished, sophisticated family you knew, and I remember you were talking about something, and the woman said, well, yes, Honduras is the new land of opportunity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is, because there's so much that can still be done here. And there's a lot of advantages like, when like the cost of living is way lower compared to the States or to other, big countries. And you can live a pretty nice life for, a fraction of the cost that you would live like in the States
Oh,
or in Canada or in Europe or something like that. And just the fact that you don't really, I mean, in terms of like the weather, which is I think one of the bigger things, because I think you eventually grow tired of, the extreme weather, the extreme heat and the extreme cold. That's a big advantage right there. And so it kind of pulls a lot of people. It's very attractive to many people and makes complete sense. I mean, you don't really have to worry about much of it, but rather the only thing you need to worry about is having an AC, which is
yeah,
pretty basic, really. And you
yeah.
don't even need it. Like half the year, you don't need it. You mostly need it during a couple of months when it gets really hot. We don't really have like the four seasons here. We have like a dry season and a rainy season.
Right.
Because temperatures tend to be, like the lowest we get here is probably, I don't know, around the 40s, and that's like really cold for us. And then yeah, like it'll go up to like the 90s. So
Yeah.
it's pretty decent. Like usually, a jacket when it gets colder, but that's very breezy for you guys. That's when you guys are wearing flip flops and shorts outside.
Oh,
So
yeah. I never found Yeah, I lived in Honduras for well over a year, and I never found the heat a problem. I just never did. It
Yeah,
was, and now, and because especially in the winter, it was wonderful because it was like in the 80s.
it's
And now
breezy.
that, I remember I was in La Ceiba, so
Oh
I
yeah,
was
so
right.
let's say it's warmer. Yeah.
Yeah, and then in the summer it would get well into the 90s, sometimes higher 90s, but you still were in the Caribbean. I mean that was the bottom line to me.
And
Now,
you're in, let's say, but you have the beach right there. It's
yeah, yeah, you have the beach right there, and I just, matter of fact, I just, I think I've told you, Rachel and I bought a home right outside of La Ceiba, a
yeah.
beach home right on the
Congrats.
water, which
Yeah,
is fantastic.
congrats.
Yeah, we'll be going down in another month or so, I think, for a couple of weeks.
Oh, we need to
Now,
get together then.
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now you come from, and this is something that everybody, the image in America is, oh, everybody in Honduras is so poor, they're not, but you come from a very strong. I know this because I had the joy of, I think it was attending your grandmother's birthday party,
It was
right?
my grandmother's 90th birthday. You were there with my whole family, like extended family and everybody. It was a big party. It was like 50 people, and you got to meet all of them. It was fun. Remember, it was in one of the big hotels here. It's called Hotel Honduras Maya. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right. And wonderful people, and you come from a strong middle class family. I mean, it would be a middle class family,
Yeah.
it's strong in the U.S. So tell us something about that. What's that like for you? And also help people understand there is a strong, vibrant middle class in Honduras.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's no denying, that in general terms, the majority of the population struggles financially. That's no secret. But there is a strong middle class, and there's a lot of like entrepreneurs and smaller businesses. So there's a lot of well-educated people. We actually have a lot of brain drain because there are many, like middle-class families, that they do the best they can to put their children into good schools. We have a very good in terms of the education system, like the bilingual schools are pretty good. So that's why we have like a good we're fluent, in English. So that makes a lot of sense, and so there's a lot of families that are not, everybody struggles at times, but general terms, we're pretty comfortable, the small middle class that we have here. And there is it's also, since it's a smaller country, there's a lot of, everybody knows each other. There's a lot of connections, so you help each other out. There's like a network, a nice networking effect, because like if I set up a small business, all my friends, and all the people that I'm connected to, they'll help me out. So we kind of pull each other up that way. So but yeah, I mean, we're, again, middle class family, not but yeah, work hard, study, and
Yeah.
put your best foot forward, essentially. Yeah.
Now I think I know one of your brothers is a lawyer, right?
Yeah, that's the youngest. Then
Yeah.
one of the I have three brothers. So the oldest is a civil engineer. Then I'm the second one. I study business administration. And then the third one is a doctor, and the younger one
That's right.
is the one that studied law. Yeah.
It's
He-
fantastic.
he's also like a self-taught chef. That's his passion. So we have an interesting mix right there. See, An
And
interesting
folks,
mix.
I want you to hear think about what you're hearing here. Doesn't that blow your mind? Look, the description of Elisa's family,
Yeah.
and that's not altogether unusual in Honduras, correct?
No, it's not at all.
And is the thing that I love, and I'm just going to say it outright. In the United States, the idea of being able to start your own business and move up and become successful is becoming a lost dream because of government taxes and regulations and permits and licenses. I talked the other day to a woman we know. Absolutely, listen, you'd be crazy. She is the best baker I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I'm not just talking about makes a cake. I'm talking makes a cake that looks like something out of a gourmet magazine.
Oh wow.
And I said, you ought to start your own bakery. And her answer was, of course, in the United States, you can't.
Oh
Because
god.
all the regulations, the Federal Register of Regulations in America now, every week is bigger than ever before in history. But you don't have that in Honduras. It really is a place right? And correct me if I'm wrong, where you
And
can start a business.
you can, and there's like active programs, like the Chamber of Commerce. They keep doing things to help entrepreneurs. Like I know, like the smaller entrepreneurs, they can get a lot of benefits. Like there's a lot of free courses that they can attend. They help them out. They can help them like build their website to so that they have more visibility, in terms of social media and all these things. They help strategize. There's also like there's government programs that you can apply to, and then you can get some sort of aid. They can help you out and say, okay, these are the machines that I would need to get my business to grow a little bit, or to set up my business. And you can sometimes get like it can be like preferential loans, or there's even some cases where they'll provide you with the equipment. Like you only have to give them the supporting evidence and a business plan and everything, and they'll say, okay, this will help you out, and so they'll give you, it's like a non-refundable loan, for your
Yeah.
initial investment and things like that. So there are opportunities. I mean, everybody struggles, every country struggles, but we're taking good steps, I think, into trying to help these people. And there is a more open market, I think, right now for entrepreneurs. There's been a lot of work done in that way. So
It's,
yeah, that's pretty nice.
folks, it really is the land of opportunity. I know you have a hard
Yeah.
deadline. We're almost out of time, but
Yeah.
I have somebody here I want you to say hello to.
Yeah.
Looky here. He's here.
Hey, Rachel, how are you? It's nice to see you.
Can you believe Elisa and I started out talking about Elisa and I met you both at the same time.
Yes, we met in San Pedro Sula.
Yes, Princess Hotel.
Princess Hotel, exactly. That's exactly what we were talking about right now. I remember that
Fantastic.
several years ago now. But good. I'm happy to see that you guys are doing well, and congratulations on the new home you got in La Ceiba recently.
Yeah, that you're going to have to visit us.
Es
And
lo
thank you.
mismo, bye.
Thank you, Francis. Alyssa, thank you. This has been fantastic. Leave
Happy to
us
be
with
here.
one thought that if you, we have 100,000 members in the Offshore Club. What would the one thought you would like to leave them with about Honduras?
I would say get curious about Honduras. I mean, I'm sure that what you've heard, some of it might be true, but most of it probably isn't. So just get curious about it. Just, Google a little bit about, the good things we have here. Take a look at our beaches, take a look at the Bay Islands, take a look at the Mayan ruins we have in Copan, and just get to know a little bit more, and, fly out here. I guarantee you're going to have some fun.
You're going to love it.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much. This is a true pleasure.
you.
It is wonderful seeing you again. And I'll
It's happy
see you in
reconnecting.
March.
Yeah, it was nice reconnecting. So let me know when you're going to be here, and I'll be your tour guide.
Thank you. We'll be there in March. We'll see you in La Ceiba. Thank you, Alyssa.
Okie dokie. Bye, Carter.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow. Folks, there you have it. One of the joys of being the president of the Offshore Club is getting to introduce you to the real people who live in Central and South American countries. Wow. Last week, Giovanni in Nicaragua, now Elisa Rodesno in Honduras. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know she blew your mind away. Not what you expected, is it? An incredible person. So fantastic, just fantastic. And talking with her and seeing the hope and the joy and the feeling of opportunity she exudes. And it really segues perfectly into what's always our closing segment of the show, and that is the motivation moment. And she motivates me, and I have a feeling she motivated you too, to think, I got to do what she says and get curious about Honduras, okay? And I want to motivate you in closing with one more thing that occurred to me. Normally I have a video or something for you, but I just want to tell you something that occurred to me the other morning. First, true confession time. I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people who sometimes wakes up at 2 a.m. and my brain tries to be negative. You ever have that happen? Where your brain wakes up at 2 a.m. with some negative thought, and it's like, what the heck is this? It's 2 a.m. I don't need to hear this. And then also when I first wake up in the morning sometime, I get out of bed and your brain tries to tell you, well, this could go wrong, that could go wrong. I think it's kind of natural for all of us, and we have to fight it. Your brain has a lot of defense mechanisms. Sometimes you have to tell your brain, hey, I don't want to hear that. Okay. Give me some positive here. So I want to give you some positive. It occurred to me the other morning when I woke up and my brain tried to tell me something, something could go wrong. And I realized I want you to think about the 3 M's, okay? If you wake up at 2 in the morning or wake up in the morning and your brain tries to be negative, think about the 3 M's in life, okay? The 3 M's, and focus and fasten on them. And the first M is memories. Tell your brain, you know what, I've got it. I have wonderful memories that I love. You know, with me, folks, it goes all back to my childhood growing up in Baltimore City with my father as a Methodist minister there, on up until, you know, my living on Honduras, everything, and a lot of things we've shared over the past year. Memories. The first M is memories. Think about your good memories, okay? Your brain tries to be negative, and they say, oh, I'm going to think about some good memories. The second is moments. Think about the wonderful moments you're having now, okay? You know, I have, you know, as you saw with the interview with Elisa, I have a wonderful wife, you know, 2 gorgeous homes in Honduras, wonderful home here in New York, and then in West Virginia. So the memories, the moments rather, the moments you have that are just great. Focus on the good moments. Focus on the good moments because you have a lot of them. Okay, count your blessings, name them one by one, as the song says. And the third M, you have memories, moments, momentum. Think about the great things that are coming for you in the future. Okay, you've got momentum in life. One of the reasons I know you have momentum in life is you're a member of the Offshore Club, which means you're thinking big, you're thinking broad, you're thinking global, actually. Okay, you can't have better momentum than that. Okay, memories, moments, momentum, and that's what I want to leave with you today. The 3 M's, okay, and grasp them, grip them to your heart, and make them part and parcel of who you are as you make your move, as I always tell you, to the good life at a great price offshore. Let's do this thing.